Hello and welcome to The Hero Spouse. I'm Kendra Ruth, here to answer one of your questions about marriage and midlife crisis. Today we have Joanne. Joanne is a left behind spouse with a bomb drop of September 2021 and a date of marriage of 1997. She has a boomerang who is a high energy replayer. She says, I haven't seen my husband for 6 months, and my kids, who are 20 and 28, a son 20 and a daughter 28, they've refused to see him since bomb drop in November of 2021, or just after bomb drop. I agreed that he could start coming to the house once a week, as he believes this is enough for the kids to see he's trying to reconnect with them. They leave and refuse to see him, and they've made it clear that they want nothing to do with him. I found these meetings difficult and emotional, but I'm getting stronger, and though I'm not great at smart contact, it's a work in progress. However, I do struggle with how he treats the kids and how he thinks he's a good dad. He's done nothing but lie and cheat for a year. Before bomb drop, they had a great relationship with him. He promised that he would live locally, but he's not, as he can't afford that. But we have just found out he's been on 4 holidays this year, so spending the money he claimed he didn't have for rent. How do I detach from my feelings as a protective mom, as I get angry when he says he's doing what he can and blaming them for having no contact? Okay, a few questions or a few things that you might not like. And it's not bad, that kind of not like, it's not bad news. But you're asking, how do I detach? And the how do I detach, the answer to that isn't a direct you detach by sort of answer. You detach by not focusing on what it is you're trying to detach from. You detach by getting out of this situation, by stepping aside. For one, this is about your 2 adult children. Now, one of them is only 20, much younger. And I understand, especially in that case, them need to be a little bit more in there, but he's an adult. You need to step aside, and they may ask you, and they may talk to you and ask for advice. Allow them to talk to you. Be a listening ear. But you also have to let them know when, you know what, I can't handle it. I'm so sorry, but it's traumatic for me. And they probably can't handle you telling them all of your problems. You can't handle the same thing right now because their problem is also the same thing you're dealing with. And so all of you talk to each other about how much you can handle together and say, sometimes we're going to have to not tell each other everything, because it's traumatic for each one of us. And we're just re-traumatizing ourselves because we can't solve it. This is his problem. And his relationship with the children is not your problem. I do want you to validate for them, if they can understand, and at this age, they should be able to understand that he's going through some sort of a crisis, existential identity crisis. And so it's not about them. They need to be able to, if they feel so, that they can stand up for him when he is upset and he blames them. What often happens is then it's, oh, your mother's influencing you. And I would come back and say, you know what, that's a really big insult. You raised me with her, and you raised me to be able to tell right from wrong. And you raised me to know what to do, and I know you. And this isn't the father that raised me. So I can tell that you're different. I don't need mom to do that for me. I have my own mind, and you need to respect that. The reason we are having conflict, you and me, is because you aren't respecting it. Not just the behaviors you're doing, which I don't respect, but you're not respecting that I have an opinion about them. It's not my job to tell you you can't do it, but I don't have to like it. And you can certainly know that I don't have to like it. I don't approve of it. It's disrespectful to our entire family. I'm not saying they should say things like that or not. I'm saying it's okay if they do, but they have to do it and stand up for themselves. And it's your job to step out of the way. It's your job to say, I'm sorry, honey, that this is happening. And I feel for you. But you have to work on your relationship with your father. And if you don't want that, it is their prerogative to not be there for him. If he can come, I love that you said he could start seeing them at the house once a week. And you said you haven't seen him in 6 months, but this has been difficult for you. Are you there now so that you have seen him since this started and you hadn't seen him from 6 months before that? Because that can change the dynamics of the two of you together. But really, I want you to start working on detachment for the reason of personal healing and regulating your emotions. And you do that through mindfulness. You do that through doing things that are important to you that aren't about those relationships. It's your hobbies, things that you can become engrossed in with your mind, things that are calming. So mindfulness often starts with a lot of meditation. There are other things you can do, finding the runner's high, doing things that aren't necessarily about critical thinking, but that they just take a different piece of your mind. Instead of right-brained, it's left-brained, or instead of left-brained, it's right-brained, depending on where you usually live in your brain. For Christmas, I bought Blaze a fancy wooden puzzle of a lion. And the other night we pulled it out to put together. And it's not regular puzzle shapes. But doing that, as we got more engrossed, and as I got more engrossed in it because he got busy doing other things as well, I had to start seeing shapes in a different way. So it switched off from one side of the brain to the other. And instead of thinking linearly, I was seeing in patterns. And this was a puzzle that it was a few hours long to take. There were shapes that were animal shapes, all sorts of shapes that you couldn't tell. I had to look for patterns in the images, but just negative space in the shapes. And that is a mindfulness activity. Anything that can click you over to the other side can lead to those mindfulnesses. So find something like that. And I know that's not the answer people who ask about detachment are looking for, but that's how it's done. You engross yourself in other things. Guided meditations, guided hypnotherapy, or hypnotherapy that is specifically created for you. If you see a hypnotherapist, or if you have one created, a hypnotherapist create something for you so that uses your name. Or you can get the free ones. YouTube has tons. Things like that are what are going to help you for your detachment. And then you step aside and you let your children handle their relationship with their dad. You don't step in. It's not being codependent that you're giving them a space. That's great, but make sure you're not there. And if they're not going to be there, you can let them know, you know what, they have changed their minds. They're not here. They don't want to see you. You need to facilitate something with them. And if they say no, that's between you and them. You need to leave me out of it because I can't fix you and I can't fix them and I can't fix your relationship with them. It's not my job. And then he's going to get mad and then he's going to blame you and he's going to monster you. And you say, I'm sorry you feel that way. You can give a truth dart of this is due to your behaviors, but you don't have to. You can give a truth dart when you do it, though. You and I both know what they're doing is based on the betrayal they feel due to your behaviors. You and I both know. That's the key phrase in there. But it's not necessary right now. What's necessary is you focus on that detachment you're looking for by stepping aside and doing the really hard thing of watching them struggle. I'm sorry, but I hope this was helpful, and I'll see everybody in the next video.